Hi, ladies. Merry Christmas. Welcome back to Don't Quote Me on That. I'm very excited for today's episode because we have a guest speaker. As you guys can tell by the title, it's called No Mistletoe. So we're going to talk about relationships, more specifically like boys and boyfriends, or the lack thereof, to be specific. So I asked you guys on my Instagram to ask me a bunch of questions that we're going to ask today's guest speaker. And I'm very excited because you guys have asked for her to come on. You guys love her. You guys wanted her here. So please, big round of applause for my mom. Hi, Mommy.
Hello.
How are you?
Good, and you?
Good. How's your Christmas going?
Amazing.
Okay, I'm glad. Well, thank you for coming. Everybody wanted you to come on the episode, and not necessarily to talk about boys, but that's what we're going to talk about today because she's been married for 20 years.
21.
21. Okay. That's what we all try to get there. So she has pretty good advice. Honestly, I didn't really listen to her advice growing up, but I've learned that I should have. So she's the perfect guest speaker for today. And we're going to just talk about boys in general, but I did ask you guys some questions. So I'm going to ask you those questions and we'll talk about them, have a conversation about them, and get both like my perspective and your perspective as like a mom and someone who's been married. Anything you want to say?
No, I want to say thank you. My first podcast ever, and I think my last. And nothing. Thank you for having me, and I hope this helps. It's everything from my own experience and perspective. And as the podcast is named, don't quote me on that. So here we go.
She's like, please don't quote me on that. Okay, so let's just dive straight into the questions.
Woo! Good morning. Can you talk? I really need coffee. I'm so stressed. I was up studying. I'm gonna be late to class. I'll call you later. I just want to be lazy right now. I should probably go to the gym. I'm hungry. Want to hang out? I don't know anyone going tonight. I'm kind of freaking out. Does this look good? It's gonna be so much fun though. I can't wait. And yeah, that's what I would do. Just don't quote me on that.
Okay, the first question says, what should I do if a guy stopped texting me overnight?
I think I always believe that communication is a very essential part of life. I think that if he's of your interest, reach out and have a conversation and communicate why this is happening. If you don't get a response, then that's that. Sometimes words are not needed and silence just says a lot. So if they don't respond or they don't want to engage in a conversation, then I think that's it for you. And also, it's very important to believe. I'm a God believers. And I think that if he's removing someone from your life, it's for a purpose. So in the long run, maybe you might not understand it at the exact minute, but after, you're going to know why.
That's true. Because a lot of times, exactly, like we try to ask ourselves like, oh, why? And like, why is this happening? And like force something onto us and like force a relationship and like try to make it work. But if it just isn't working, then it's not. So like not force it.
In the long run, it's going to be better. And things happen for a reason. And as I say, if God's removing someone from your life, it's because it's going to be the best for you. And you might not understand it in the minute, but after you're going to say, oh, now I know why.
And that's happened to me so many times, not only with boys, but like with friendships too. Like you can apply this to like any relationship. If someone's leaving, it's like for a reason. I recently posted on my Instagram, like one of the slides on like my Instagram. It was one of my favorite quotes. And it says, when things go your way, that's God's direction. And when things don't go your way, that's God's protection. So if your relationship isn't going your way, then it's for a reason. And
I remember I had a guy that wanted to date me. And when I was a teenager. And he came to my mom and he was like, so I want to date Paula. And she was like, really, like, don't waste your time because she's leaving. I went to boarding school in London from Colombia. And she said, just don't waste your time. And I cried. I remember I fought with my mom and I said, like, why would you do this to me? And she's like, because he's not the right guy for you and you're going to understand. So if God doesn't do it for you, trust me and believe it. Your parents will. And after I found out that he wrote a check to someone or to a company, I don't even remember, and it was fake, and he ended up in jail. So sometimes things happen for a reason.
God's protection.
100%, or parents' protection, because those are your angels on earth that God sent to protect you.
You would have ended up in jail or something.
Or in a very bad toxic relationship, or I don't know what.
Okay, so in conclusion, to the person that asked that, if they stop texting you overnight, just let them. Talk to them first.
Yeah, talk to them if it's of your interest. If you don't mind, then just leave it at that. But if you do, try to reach out. If you don't get a response, then it's because something greater is going to happen to you.
Okay, awesome. Second question is, how can you feel less insecure about not having even your first boyfriend at 21?
I think that nowadays, society pressures you. We have all this coming around, Instagram, TikTok, that we consciously or unconsciously compare to others. And I think that things will happen at your own pace. Things will come to you when you're supposed to go through that experience. So if you try and rush it, it's not going to be a good experience. And I think that when that person's supposed to come into your life is because you're going to be ready for it, because you're going to be mature about it, because, not saying that you're not, but because, as I say, I quote God a lot. So he's going to have the right moment for you. And he's going to have the right person to come when it has to come for you. So don't feel insecure at all. There are people that have boyfriends or girlfriends where they're 12, 13, 14. That doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean that if you're 21 and you haven't had a boyfriend, you're never going to have one. And it's better because you have focused on your teenage life. You have made a lot of bonding relationships with friends. So take advantage of that because life's long. And I got married when I was 22, and I've been married longer than when I was single. So see the positive side, that you can enjoy your life, but eventually that person is going to come along. So just wait on it when the time's right, but it will come.
I agree with you. And I feel like if you're feeling insecure, it's maybe because of what you said, you're still comparing yourself to someone. We talked about comparison 2 episodes ago. And it's very easy, what you said, to see everybody has a boyfriend and everyone's had a boyfriend and I've never had a boy. Stop comparing yourself to other people. One of my favorite sayings when it comes to relationships is you can either wait for what's right or force what's wrong. So sometimes out of desperation or I really want a boyfriend, you'll date the first guy that crosses your path, and they might not be a good guy, they might be a toxic guy, but out of just wanting a boyfriend really bad, you get yourself into bad relationships. So I've definitely done that before, and I would say just wait. I would rather stay single and wait for a really, really good guy than do what I've done in the past of maybe going out with an asshole just because I really wanted to go out with someone. Just wait. It's okay. I had my first boyfriend when I was 19, almost 20. And I always compared myself to my cousin who he's my same age. We're both 20. He's been in a relationship for 6 years. 6 years. And I just had my first relationship. And I remember it happened a lot. I felt insecure too. So I can relate a lot to that question because it happens a lot. When I go to family meetings, and my grandmas would always be oh, when are you going to have your boyfriend? Or why have you not had your boyfriend? And your friends, my parents' friends, or my aunts and uncles, they're always oh, what about the boyfriend? Why do I need to have a boyfriend?
And that just not with the boyfriends. Something that I've learned along and throughout my life is that there's so many, and this is an advice that I want to give, so many questions that can be hurtful for people at any age. So when you're in your teens and someone asks you, so do you have a boyfriend or do you have a girlfriend? That's none of your business. That's my personal life. No one knows what that person's going through or has been going through, or if it feels insecure about it, like the question asks. And also later in life. First, when you're in a relationship, it's are you going to get married? That's none of your business. Don't pressure me on marriage. Then you get married and they ask you, when are you going to have kids? That's none of your business. It's like asking someone I don't know, how many times do they brush their teeth or how many times do they sleep with their couple? So that's so intimate. And after you have your first child, they ask you, so are you going to have a second one? And then you have your second one and it's like, are you going to have a third? Like those questions in life are really hurtful because you don't know if that person has had miscarriages. You don't know if that person had just like a failure relationship that had a proposal for getting married and then they didn't end up getting married. And that's really hurtful. So advice, never ask someone, do you have a boyfriend? When was your latest relationship? Why are you single? When are you getting married? When are you having your first child? Second, third, fourth? That's none of your business. Don't ask the questions because you don't know what that person has been or is going through. So there's a lot in there.
No, you're so right. I saw a TikTok like not too long ago, a couple of days ago, and it was this girl saying how she's been in a 6-year relationship. She's like 27, 20 something, how she's been in a 6-year relationship, and she was giving like her best advice for being in like a long-term relationship. All of the comments were like, if you've been together for 6 years and he hasn't proposed, like he's not the one. Like, why haven't you gotten married after 6 years? And a lot of the people were answering back, like, not everyone needs to get married like right away or like wants to get married. Like some people just want to date. So don't feel insecure about not having a boyfriend. It's okay. Don't compare yourself because that's why you're feeling insecure, but it'll come. And yeah, let's just not ask those questions to other people. This one, well, you just said you got married when you were 22. Pretty damn young because I'm going to be 22 in a year and a half. Can you imagine me married at 22?
No, not at all.
Would you let me get married at 22?
If that's God's plan, of course.
But like, would you think I'm crazy?
Depends who the person is. Depends on the relationship you've been. It all depends.
Do you think you were crazy?
I don't know. I think that I would do it exactly the same. I would marry your dad at 22. I would have you girls. I would live my same life. But I think that I would have wanted to like experiment maybe like more like into work, knowing more personalities. That doesn't mean dating a bunch of guys because I don't believe in that, but knowing more probably what I liked, what I disliked. So I don't think I was crazy. It was just the time for me. I don't know.
Because that's the third question. It's if it's worth it or not to like be in a long-term relationship in your 20s, or like if you should stay single in your 20s. Like what's better?
Well, I wasn't in a long-term relationship. I met your dad, and 6 months later he proposed, and then 4 months after we were married. So everything happened in a year. I met him in January. He proposed in June. We got married in November. And then in December, I was pregnant with you.
So she is crazy.
So I wasn't in a long-term relationship, but I always had a boyfriend. So I had a boyfriend since I was 16, and I had a 4-year relationship with him. And then that relationship ended. And then I had another boyfriend for a year and a half, almost 2 years. And then I met your dad. I've always been, I was always in a relationship. So I think that it depends like on your life. I'm not saying if it's worth or not worth. It's just how the things shuffle for you. And if you meet the right person, it's worth it. If you don't, then stay single. Like it's better to be single than having someone that it's not giving something to your life and just make you a better person and just help you grow and make you greater. So if you're single, enjoy, because you're not going to be single forever. And as I say, marriage can be long, depends how young you start, but it's worth being in a relationship and it's worth being single. It depends how life goes for you and which person you find.
And would you say like it also depends on like what you want out of your 20s? Because like, for example, for me, like I know I want to be a mom. I know I want to get married. I know I want to have my family, but I know that I want to like focus on my career first and like build my career, build myself, accomplish my goals and my dreams. And then later, maybe when I'm like 30 or something, like settle down, have kids, whatever. Obviously, if something crazy happens and I meet my future husband like in 3 years and I get married, but that's that. But would you say it like depends on like what you want out of your 20s? Like if you want to like focus on your career, focus on yourself, then maybe stay single. Or if you like know for sure you want to get married, you know for sure you want to have kids, then like be on the look for, I guess that.
If you want to make God laugh, make plans. So everything is what's going to be meant for you. You might make plans and say, I'm going to get married at 30, and all of a sudden you meet Prince Charming and you get married at 20. Or you say, I want to get married at 20 and I want to start a family at 25, and then it just happens in your 30s. So don't pressure yourself, because sometimes this is what we do. And we make plans and you say, okay, I'm going to be married at 20, 25, 30, or have kids at this age. Just live and enjoy your life and see how everything comes along. There's not a tick tock, like a clock. Not a TikTok, but like a tick tock, like a clock. There's not. So, and there's no like rush into getting into things or out of things. Just wait, live your life, enjoy, be smart about it, feel with your heart, see if this is correct or not. But setting timelines on when you want to do things, it's just not going to happen, because God plays in different ways.
And just to clarify, live around and have fun does not mean sleep around.
100%. 100%. And even though now you guys are at very modern time, why I always say what is on trend and what is modern never stays. Everything that is classic or classy remains through time. So I'm going to do a comparison, very light comparison. If you buy a black blazer, super classic, you can have that blazer for 20 years. If you buy like a super trendy jacket, blazer full of patches, whatever, eventually you're going to get bored of it. And the same thing happens how you manage your personal life, your relationships. Even though, and I've seen it because I've heard them speak, boys say, oh no, it's because they want, of course, to be with you. They want, of course, to sleep with you. Are they thinking, are you maybe like a wifey potential? I don't know about that, because that's how they come along at certain years of their life. And whoever's there to do so, they're going to be happy about it. But after they speak and they talk, they're going to say, oh, such and such, she slept with this many, or she kissed, da-da-da. Are they going to think seriously about you? Not really. So having friends, knowing personalities, things that you might like or dislike, eventually for having a serious relationship, that doesn't mean, as Gabriela say, to sleep with everyone, to see how it goes. I don't know. I think I'm just like classic-er in that aspect, and to take care of yourself.
Of course, and it's up to you. Like, you choose how to live your life. But yeah, having fun doesn't mean sleeping around and bringing everyone into your bedroom. That is not having fun. Well, for some people it may be. It's kind of gross, too, if you think about it. It's kind of gross. Okay, next question. How to go from a situationship to a relationship?
So it depends on where you're standing.
Wait, do you know what a situationship is?
Yeah, that you're dating someone, but you don't have like a title.
Yeah, but like it's like a situation. Like you're not
like you're dating, you're having something there, but not like a serious relationship.
Yeah.
So I think that it depends how things have come along. Now, this is something I don't understand. And even though I'm very young, believe it or not, but this is something for me is very bizarre, like thinking, oh no, we're something. What do you mean we're something? Either you are or you're not. So I think you have to set boundaries for yourself, and set boundaries like for everything in your life, like coworkers, friends, boyfriend, girlfriend, parents, even. Like set your boundaries. So it depends what you're looking for in your life. If you're looking for a relationship, but this is not going anywhere, not that you have to pressure the other person, but sometimes you can know, I understand if this is just not going to happen, and just say, I'm going to leave it here, because that's not going to happen. And also, I feel that men get comfortable. Whatever you allow them to do, they just get comfortable. So if you're not asking for a relationship or for something serious, then he's going to be comfortable, because he's going to say, like, we're chilling here, and like, why do we have to get into a relationship? I remember when I met my husband, he's 15 years older than me, and he had dated many women from his age, older than him, and I was probably the youngest. And he said, okay, let's go live together. And I said, what do you mean? He's like, yeah, we don't need to get married. Let's go live together. And I said, first of all, I wouldn't do it because of me. I wouldn't go live with anyone. That's my personal opinion. And also my dad, I know this would have been devastating for him. So I said, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm sorry. And he said, what do I have to do? Like, basically, I have to marry you. Like, if I want to travel with you and be with you and live with you, like, basically, I have to marry you. And I was like, basically, those were my standards. Those were the things I wanted it and I considered for myself. If maybe he would have said, well, I'm sorry, this is not for me and I'm not going to marry you. Okay, bye, next. But for me, I wasn't going to do it for me and also for my father and the way I was brought up. So I said, this is my way. And if he wanted it, me, he would have to do my way.
And marry you. And he did. And he did. And I always say this, sometimes I forget about it, but I always say this, your standards are not too high. You're just asking the wrong person. Like, if you meet a guy and you're like, these are my standards, oh, I can't meet them, then don't lower them for that person. Move on and find someone who will meet those standards, because there's someone that will meet those standards. And when it comes to like the situationship, turning it into a relationship, like if it was going to be a relationship, it would have been a relationship from the beginning. Like if he wanted to date you, he would have dated you. Like there wouldn't be like confusion. Like you wouldn't be like so confused. Like, does he like me? Does he not like me? Does he want to date me? Does he not? Like he would make it like crystal clear. Like, I want you and like I'm going to date you. No?
No, because
No.
Because from my experience, again, when I started dating your father, he was like all over the place. And we dated, we went on to dates, we went here, we went to dinner, we went to parties, but never like something serious. Like I didn't know where I stand with him. And I was like, how is this going on? And like because of the year difference, and I had just lived abroad for 7 years. And then I went back to Colombia and I said, like, this is not working for me. This is not fulfilling, and I'm not at peace. And most important thing is to have your heart at peace and not settle for like anything or accept anything less. So after 4 months that he would take me on dinners, and then for the next 2 days, he wouldn't call me. And then when he called me, I was like, hello, you didn't call me. And he was like, oh, no. If you're calling me and then you're like gonna like tell me off, like get pissed or whatever, like, this is it for me. And he would hang up. And I was like, what? So one day after 4 months, I said, you know what? And maybe this would be my advice to you. I don't know. Every relationship is different. I'm just telling my experience. I said, he picked me up because we were going to go to dinner and to a friend's house. And I said, no. I'm not going anywhere. Like, I'm going to talk to you. And he said, okay, what about? And I said, listen, this is not working out. You're 15 years older than me. And I was 21 at the time. And I said, and we are just like dating. And if you want just a woman to accompany you to like dinners and cocktails and more or less be your escort, that's not going to be me. Like, I'm sorry, but this is not me. Either or we are something or we're not. And he laughed and he said, you've been my girlfriend since I met you. And I was like, where does it say this? And then after that, he started like calling. And after a month, he proposed.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, he knew he was going to date you.
Of course. But he was also being in a comfort zone, saying she's allowing to take her out to dinners, to parties, to things. And she doesn't have the title and she's okay with it. If I wouldn't have asked that, and if I wouldn't have told him that I wasn't going to go live with him, that was going to be that. I would have probably moved with him. Or maybe dated for I don't know how long.
Okay, no, that's true. So for the situationship, like you kind of had a situationship with my dad, I guess you could call it at the beginning. And then you have to like talk it out and be like, hello, where is this going? But what I was saying is like, if they don't want to turn it into a relationship, then they're not going to turn it into a relationship. Of course, like no matter how much you try to change them, you're not going to. And that like BS story that they always sell you in high school movies of like the player and the like king of the cafeteria crowd like turning all soft and like romantic for like this one girl, like that doesn't happen. Like we love thinking that like he's gonna change for me, like the player is gonna change for me. Like they're not. If they wanted to, they would. Like, if they wanted to date you, they would. You can talk to them. Like what you said, you talked to my dad and you were like, hello, like, what is this situationship? Like, are we dating or are we not? But if my dad didn't want to date you, he wouldn't have turned it into a relationship.
Of course, that I understand. But also you have to like see like where you stand and see if it's going somewhere or not. And then just like figure it out from there.
Because last, like 2 summers ago, I had a little situationship with a guy who's a couple of years older than me. And he like was iffy about like dating because he didn't want to do like long distance because I was still in college and he lives in Miami. And I was like, you know what? Like, same thing. Like, I'm tired of like this, like, is it going anywhere? Is it not? And I was like, listen, like, my only option, like, if you want to date me, the only option is doing long distance. Like, that's it. And he was like, I don't want to do long distance. And okay, I moved on. I was like, have fun, have a good life. And that's it. And I moved on. And then a couple of months later, I found my ex and like my boyfriend and we dated and that was that. But I didn't like try to force that relationship. Like,
yeah, but you were clear on what you wanted. You said has to be long distance relationship. And he said no. And that was it. So you have to be clear on what you want and set standards for your life and for you to be comfortable. Yeah. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work.
But what I'm saying is you can't turn a situationship into a relationship if they don't want a relationship.
Yeah, of course. Of course. Like, if they don't want, they're going to stay in a situationship. They're going to stay in that.
So it's not up to you to turn a situationship into a relationship. It's up to you to communicate what you want. And if they don't want that, then okay, have fun. Thank you. Next.
Yeah.
Okay. Mom coming in with a fire advice. Haha. Okay. This one's a tough ass question that low-key pisses me off. So the question goes, my ex, in parentheses, we still talk, told me he wishes I still looked like how I did before I started my eating disorder recovery. Yet he still wants to be with me if I go back to being pretty, quote unquote. Okay. You go, because I'm just triggered.
I don't think you should change for anyone, nor your physical, nor your emotional, nor your mental, nor your beliefs for anyone. Who's going to love you and accept you for whom you really are is going to love you and accept you above all things. If someone is starting to ask you to change certain things, that's not the right person for you. We can modify certain behaviors to become a better human being, to become a better person for another person or for us. But if you had such a suffering with your eating disorder and he knows about it because he clearly knows about it, and now he wants you to change and go back to that hurt you so much for you to become pretty, like you are pretty because that's how God made you and because you're pretty the day you were born. If someone doesn't accept you like this, bye. The question or the suggestion is just super offensive. Like, you shouldn't even consider talking to this person because he just showed the kind of trash that he is by asking you just that. So love yourself, recover every day, be better and better, stay healthy, and love yourself above everyone. He's definitely not worth it and not having you.
And I understand that when you meet someone, the first thing that like you get attracted to is their appearance because you haven't met them. Like when you see someone, it's like, ooh, they're hot or they're not hot. But that's the reason you talk to them. The reason you stay is because of their heart, and it's because of their brain, and it's because of their soul. You shouldn't stay with someone just because they look pretty or not. Like, what does he want? Like, so that he just show off to like all of his friends. Exactly.
Like a trophy.
That's not what a relationship is about at all. And if, again, like just the simple fact that he thinks that you would be prettier if you were skinnier, like skinny does not equal pretty, and unhealthy does not equal pretty. If he loved you for you, he would want you to be healthy. He would want you to recover. He would help you recover. On the contrary, he would be like, baby, have you eaten today? Like, when was the last time you ate? Hey, you're eating like too little. Let's eat a little bit more. Like, he would help you. But the fact that he wants you to go back to your eating disorder so that you look prettier, it just, I don't understand it.
And this is just such a red flag. And these are like the highlights that a car does. Like he's giving you highlights, like ti 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 ti. For you to recognize, understand that, imagine you would get married to this person. The day that something happens to you, God forbid you have an accident, you disfigure your face, you have an illness that your body changes, maybe you have an illness that you can't speak properly as you did before. Something, so many things can happen to us every day. Is he going to stop loving you because of it? I've been married for 21 years, and 3 years ago, I had an allergy episode that I had never had in my life. It was super serious. I'm not going to get into it, but I was completely deformed. If I would share the pictures, you guys would be scared. Was my husband going to leave me because of it? So what is the reason he's married to me for? So if you're not even married, he's your ex. You had certain time of a relationship. Imagine if you would marry this person and something happens to you, something worse than an eating disorder, he's going to leave you. So just think at a bigger picture and in the future. I know it hurts, but this is like for me, you should be done.
100% you should be done. And love is supposed to be unconditional. If they're setting conditions, then it's not love. Oh, I'll date you if you look like this, if you have X amount of money, if you X and Y. If there's
act like this.
If there's an if, they're setting a condition to be with you, and that is not love, because love is unconditional. So no, absolutely not. And please block him. Please block him. And block all of his friends, because they're probably pieces of trash too. No, that one pissed me off. Okay, next question. Well, it's kind of similar to like what we've talked about, but like, I don't know, like we can maybe say a little bit more. What should I do if he's not taking me seriously?
It depends on what you want. If you really want this person, as I said, talk, speak, say what you want, what your comfort zone or life or heart or mind will be. How are you going to be at peace? And just say, I'm not comfortable because I don't know where we're standing. And if they say, oh, no, sorry, well, sorry, too bad. This is it. Because if not, you're going to allow for something to just go on and you're not going to be happy about it.
Okay. We have 3 more. How to let them go.
As I say, I believe in God. So for me, it's very easy to step out of situations or just trust him and say, I leave this in your hands. And I know that if you're doing this, it's because for my best interest. So if you believe in God or not, or believe in someone or the universe or whatever, just rely that this is the best you can do. And if you're questioning yourself, if you should let them go, is because something is not giving you peace. And peace in your heart and in your mind is not worth like any money in the world. So if this thought is in the back of your mind, how to let them go is because things weren't working out. And you have probably your whole life ahead of you. So just make it count, make it worth it. It's going to hurt. You're going to suffer because love hurts. We've all been through it, but you're going to be okay.
And for me, whenever I think of like letting go, which is like not easy. Well, the first thing is they always say like, if you love them, let them go. And if it's meant for you, like it's going to come back to you if it was meant for you. So that's
true.
Yeah, it's true. They do come back to you if it was meant for you. One like really cute story. Well, it's like, I don't know if it's like cute like that or not. But my grandma, she had a boyfriend when she was 17 for like a couple of years. Then she married my grandpa, like for how many ever years, 20 something, 30 years, until my grandpa passed. And then she found him again, her boyfriend of when they were 17. So life will bring people back to you if they're like.
And they dated for 9 years and it was a good relationship, but they got stuck in the same point they did when they were 17. So it wasn't going to work anyway.
Some things never change.
Never change.
And for me, at least, like whenever I'm going through a new like heartbreak or like letting a new guy go or like trying to forget about a guy, I always think about like the last one, you know, like when I was 17, this guy broke my heart and like I didn't get over him for like a year, maybe 2 years. And now that I'm going through a breakup, I think like it'll pass too. Like that one took 2 years, but I eventually got over it. And now when I look back at him, I'm like, whatever. So eventually this one is also going to pass in however many years.
Everything passes. Everything passes.
Yeah, but when you're in the moment, you feel like it's going to last for freaking forever, Mom.
Forever. Nothing is forever. Yep. Everything's going to pass.
Yeah, but it feels like it.
It feels, but you should convince yourself that's why you have a head where you have it. You have your head and then you have your heart. So think with your head. It's going to pass. Sometimes you have to put aside your emotions to let your head and your mental thoughts control the situation. Because if you think with your heart, it's going to last forever.
It's going to last forever.
Yeah.
It does feel like it's going to last forever.
That's why your head controls your heart.
That is true. And sometimes we let our heart control our brains, which is not the right order. It's my favorite thing you've always taught me. Like, number 1, number 2, number 3. Okay? So that's the third one, which leads on to this question. How do I know if he just wants to fuck? Well, have sex.
So how do you know? How long have you been dating? How does he treat you? Is he a gentleman? Is he like giving the like little things? Like, does he bring flowers? Does he care about you? Does he like to go like to the movies or invite you to a dinner? Or he only wants to have you in his apartment and never has introduced you to his friends? And like, so there are many like signs that you can read that he's saying, I just want to sleep with you and take you into my bed, or I want to take you more serious. So just read the signs and know what things he's doing. But if all the signs lead you to, I just want to have you in my apartment and in my bed, then run, because you're much more worth than just someone wanting to sleep with you.
And don't make excuses. Like, if you see the red flags, sometimes when we really have a crush on someone, we know they're toxic. We know they don't want a relationship. And it's like, no, but like, if I would just give him like one more chance, like,
excuse them.
Yeah, exactly. We make excuses. And honestly, for me, if he's texting you at 2 a.m., asking you to come over at 2 a.m., he doesn't want to take you on a date at 2 a.m. in the morning. Like, he just wants to sleep with you at 2 a.m. in the morning. So if you're the backup plan, he never wants to hang out during the day. He never wants to go on a date. But, 2 a.m., I'm ready. Please. That's like your biggest red flag ever.
No, and if he doesn't show you, as I say, he doesn't introduce you to his friends, he takes you out on dates, eventually introduce you to their families. Like, when you want a relationship, you want to show the person you're with.
Yeah, and if he texts you like, let's hang out, suppose you guys have sex and like whatever, and then he ghosts you for like 3 days, and then he appears again, come over again, and it's the same thing. Like, he does not want to date you. Yeah. Like, he had a really good time the first time and he just wants to do it again. Like, he doesn't want to date you and like take you seriously. So it's like every single guy shows that in a different way. Como que they have like different red flags and like different signs. But if you are picking up on the signs and you know deep down in the bottom of your heart that they just want to sleep with you, then stop making excuses and stop thinking that, one day they're going to date me. Yeah, no. Like, one day the player is going to become Prince Charming. That only happens in movies. Sorry to be harsh, but that only happens in movies.
No.
Sometimes. Majority of the time.
Yeah. But when
Majority.
But of course, players settle. If not, a lot of players wouldn't be married.
Pero
eventually.
At what age?
Yeah.
If we're talking about a 16-year-old boy, a 20-year-old boy.
Yeah, no. If he's showing these flags, no.
If you're a player when you're 16, sure, you'll settle eventually when you're 30. But if you're the player at 16, you're not going to settle at 16.
Yeah, of course not.
Because that's not what they want. And again, like, stop thinking that like you're going to turn them into this like Prince Charming. If they're not, they're not. If they wanted to date you, they would date you. And that's it. They would go out of their way to date you. How to deal with a toxic boyfriend?
Leave. Life is so complicated and life has so many challenges that you shouldn't put up with any toxic nothing. Not a friend, not a boyfriend or girlfriend, not a situation, not a career, not a professor, not nothing. Nothing toxic in your life. The only person that can save your life is your own self. So take yourself out of any toxicity in your life, because that's just gonna like harm you and make you miserable and make you accept many things you don't want to accept, and you're just gonna like settle for. So run as far as you can.
Get the F out. Look the other way and sprint. And if you don't know if you're like in a toxic relationship, people around you will pick up on it. Like your friends, your family, your even like sometimes strangers will pull up to you and be like, like, hey, they're not treating you like the best.
But I'm sure no matter what age you are, there's certain things that you can pick up and say, this is not right. Because you've lived, I don't know, of course, every family is different, but how your parents have treated you. Of course, not everyone has the same experience. I know people that have had horrible experiences growing up and have even toxic parents. But now as the world goes and everything is so fast and you guys have access to so many things in life now that you now know a lot more things that I even knew at my age, that my husband knew, that my parents knew. So you guys have access to a lot more that I am sure no matter how you grew up with or what type of people you surround yourself with, I know that you can distinguish 100% what a toxic comment, attitude, reaction, situation is. At least one. You can know and say, this doesn't feel right. Like, this is not correct. You shouldn't be treated like this. Like, because of what you see in the world. Like, this is not correct. This is not right. And something definitely is, how does it make you feel? If you are not comfortable with a driver in a car getting into, with a friend, girlfriend, maybe your best friend, and say, there's certain things that don't make me feel comfortable, or a boyfriend. This doesn't feel comfortable to me. What makes you uncomfortable is no right.
It's your little conscience. Like we have it inside us for a reason. It's like a little beeping flashlight inside of us being like, again, like it gives me that like iffy feeling. If it gives you the iffy feeling, don't make excuses. Run. That comment, like that question about the guy saying that he wishes she was still as skinny as when she was in an eating disorder, that is toxic at its finest. Like that's as toxic as it's going to get. Please go back to how you looked like when you were going through an eating disorder. I don't think it gets any toxicer than that.
And if you accept, then that's on you. And then we blame ourselves. Oh, he did. Oh, he treated me. Oh, it's because many things we allowed. We allowed. We are as participants as they are. So pay attention on what you're participating in, what you're allowing, and what you're letting other people do to you or manipulate you.
Because there's that saying that's like, if you give someone your hand, they'll take your elbow and then they'll take your shoulder. Exactly. So if they say one toxic little comment to you and you let it slide, then they say another toxic comment to you and you let it slide. And then they keep building on the toxic comments. Then you get to a point where you're like, they're the worst person in the world. They've been super toxic. Sweetie, the signs were always there. You should have cut them off at the first or second. Because I always believe like in second chances, like if someone messes up, like you give them a second chance. But a third, that means they didn't learn. And that they just said sorry and like are manipulating you. So yes, you can forgive people like the first time, give them a second chance. But if it's a recurring pattern, if you see that they're doing it again, they didn't understand what they did wrong. And that's when you cut them. Because if you keep going, they'll take your elbow, your whole arm.
No, that's on you. That's what you're allowing.
So pick up on the red flags when it comes to toxicity. But if you do pick up on them, don't let it get to the point where it's extremely toxic and you don't know what to do when you can't get out of it. Get out of it the second time it happens, like as quickly as possible.
Some things are the first time.
Yeah. Yeah, some things are like crazy to the point where you're like, no, like if a guy ever touches, like hits you or like touches you like that, that's the first.
Screams. Even screams. A scream is going to lead into hitting after.
Or cursing at you, disrespecting you. Like those are the things where you cut off the first.
No one should tell you how to dress, how to paint your nails, how to style your hair, how to look. No one. That's toxic. No. And if you allow it once, they're going to take advantage and do it again. So if you allow it once and they tell you, oh, that skirt is too short, why are you wearing that? And then you go and change, next time, they're going to feel that they can say it again. No. You have no saying in my looks. It is different if they say, you know what? I don't think that top is very appealing to you because I think this color maybe is not like the best for you or whatever. Of course, because that's what we have like a couple for, to tell us the truth, but not imposing how I should do or like have control over me. No, they can advise. For example, my husband, he doesn't like if I paint my nails blue or green, but it's not that he's imposing. If I would like to paint them blue, he just says, oh my God, they look horrible. But that's it. It's not like you can't or you have to change your clothes to go out with me. No.
I need to rethink my whole life now.
Okay, Mrs.
Those are all the questions that I had for you, Mommy.
Well, thank you. And I hope this helps. And as I say, don't quote me on that. It's just my personal experience. It's just my life, what I've been going through. And I hope anything that I said helps.
No, are you kidding me? Like, I feel like to the people who ask the questions, like, there you go. There's your answer coming from both me and my mom, mostly my mom, because apparently I don't know what I'm talking about either. But if you didn't ask the questions, like, I feel like we all learned a lot of things. Like, even me talking and, like, listening to you, I was like, yeah, I need to do that differently.
No, there are many things that I still learn. Like, that's the beauty of life. You learn every day. It's a constant learning. So the main thing is love yourself above everyone else. Don't put up with anything. Don't settle for less. And it will just come and be into place. And when someone makes you awkward or not having that peace in your heart, let it go.
Thank you.
I love you.
I know you. Thank you, Mama. Oh, you gave the best advice. Thank you.
No, I love you, Peturi. Bueno.
Alrighty.
Adiós, pues.
Bye bye.
Ahora me dices.
Alrighty.
¿Cómo lo puedo ver? ¿Qué vas a hacer? ¿Vas a hablar tú?
See, I'm just going to catch up with them about, like, the vlog.
Ah, bueno, ok. Pues, bueno.
I'll be inside in a second. Isn't she so cute and the best? Honestly, like, I really, really wish that when I was 14 and 15 and 16, I would have listened to her a little bit more. I feel like I would have saved myself so many heartbreaks. I would have saved myself so many tears, so many sleepless nights. And I got myself definitely into, like, sticky situationships with guys. I've been there. Like, all the things that you guys asked, to some extent, I've asked myself too, but I never turned to anyone for help. I sort of tried figuring it out. And a lot of the times we turn to our friends for help in relationships, but our friends are on the same page as us and on the same boat as us. Like, you can ask your friend, but your friend is gonna have the same mindset as you. And the whole point of asking for advice, at least for me, what I think is you should ask someone who's been there. Someone who has experience. And I'm not claiming to be a love expert. I'm single now, guys. I just broke up with my boyfriend not too long ago. So I'm not a love expert at all, but I have experience with toxic guys. I have experience in relationships. I have experienced it all. So I don't have all of the answers, but I can definitely tell you what the fuck doesn't work. Like, it doesn't work if you do the things that I've been doing. So I really, really wish that younger I would have listened to my mom. And that's why I wanted to do this episode with her, because I was like, if anyone knows what the hell they're talking about, is my mom. So, and obviously, again, she's not perfect. She doesn't have all of the answers, but I really hope that it helped in any way at all. And it was really fun to do this episode with her. It means so much that I got to do this episode with her. You guys know this, there's nothing better than like running to your mom when you have your heart broken a little bit. And if you don't have a good relationship with your mom, then that's why we're here. That's the whole point. Like, if you don't feel comfortable asking your mom or anything, I hope this helped. I hope it helped to get it from the perspective of an adult and from like my perspective too, which is just messed up stories. But we'll definitely do more episodes like this where we're asking questions, because I really liked the dynamic of like having some questions to answer for you guys. So I really hope you enjoyed. I just wanted to like touch in really quickly this week for the vlog. I don't know why I thought this like Christmas special, because this episode today is the 24th. Well, not today, but when you guys see this, it's the 24th. So Merry Christmas Eve. I thought this like vlog was going to be like me in Vail, Colorado, because we're going skiing, and that it was going to be super like snow white, Christmas tree, mistletoes, no mistletoes for us, the single ladies on the holidays. But no, we're traveling to Colorado on Saturday. Today is Tuesday. So the vlog is still in Miami. We're still in Miami, but I tried making it as festive as possible. I put the little flowers over here. I got my red hoodie on. So I tried making it as festive as possible, but that's what we've been up to this week. This week I have a bunch of plans. Actually, I'm going to dinner with a friend tonight, and then I have a couple of events on Thursday and Friday. I have lunch with another friend. I'm going to the beach in a little with some friends. So it's definitely been very fun this week. I've had some work to do, but I'm trying to relax, enjoy my time at home, see friends that I haven't seen in a minute. You know, seeing your friends really cheers you up when you're going through a heartbreak, and it kind of like helps you get distracted. So it's been nice. It's been really good to be at home, to be back with my mom, my sister. My dad gets here on Friday. So yeah, that's what I've been up to this week. I just wanted to like touch in, say hi really quickly, update you guys about the vlog. I hope you guys have a really, really Merry Christmas. If you're single on the holidays, it's okay. Me too. No mistletoe for us this holidays, and that's okay. So have an amazing Christmas. If you celebrate Hanukkah, happy Hanukkah. If you don't celebrate anything, happy December. And have a really good time. I hope you guys get a lot of presents, eat a lot of food, because holiday food is the best. And I'll see you guys next Sunday, which I'm kind of freaking out about, because next Sunday is New Year's Eve. I don't know where this year went. I feel like this year just started and it's already ending. So I will see you guys for New Year's Eve. It's going to be a very fun New Year's Eve special episode. This was like a Christmas edition episode, and then the next one's going to be a New Year's edition episode. So stay tuned for that. I'm a very Reset Sunday kind of girly. So the fact that New Year's and Christmas fall on a Sunday, you don't understand what that means to me. Like, that's like the best. Reset Sunday with the holidays. It's like a reset year for next episode. So I'll see you guys next episode. It was very fun filming this. And yeah, have an amazing week.